mock draft. The Bills have 3 picks in the first 2 rounds. Who's going to shuffle off to Buffalo, Mel?
Let's get that defense improve, and Maxwell Hairston at cornerback. That's a huge need area for the Buffalo Bills. Hairston 2 years ago was an interception waiting to happen. Feisty, spunky player at that Kentucky Wildcat defense, and sent us several players to the National Football League over the last few years. An underappreciated defensive tackle is Tyleik Williams coming out of Ohio State. Xavier Watts, all that kid did with the Notre Dame defense is intercept passes, 13 picks over the last 2 years. But Max Hairston, cornerback, you fill that need area right off the bat, and you keep improving the defense. That's the best way to help Josh Allen and the best way to get this team to a Super Bowl.
Listen, I love the way that Mel is thinking for the Buffalo Bills. It was about getting stops in the AFC Championships, and they just couldn't do it against the Kansas City Chiefs. And listen, Hannah, you know we love Xavier Watts. I used to think when I saw players like X be like, man, I feel like people are just throwing the football to him. No, he's always in the right place, always takes the right angle, and his ball skills are up there with Travis Hunter. I'm telling you, this kid can be an absolute star. And they have to improve on the defensive side of the ball. And I've talked to people about Max Hairston. They said that his actual interviews were better than his 40, and that was 4.28.
Man.
Yeah. I mean, if you're a Buffalo Bills fan at this point, and you kind of see how this, kind of how these last couple seasons especially have unfolded, and obviously having Josh Allen as your quarterback, and the pieces that are already surrounding him, I think, right, you can't help but feel like this defense and some of the injuries, a lack of depth, and even just some of the high quality play when it matters most, it's hard not to feel like the defense has been such a letdown. So this idea that you can get younger, cheaper, faster, healthier defensive players through a draft like this, and to be able to legitimately upgrade, it matters. It matters big time. If we look at, their big games last season, we can see some healthy points being given up. I mean, even against the Cardinals, I mean, that game aged pretty poorly when you see how the Cardinal season unfolded. But against the Ravens, 35, against the Chiefs, that was obviously a pretty good game, but also a couple gifts there too. Some bad quarterback play from Patrick Mahomes at moments, and I think, was that before they got DeAndre Hopkins, or if they got him and he wasn't really integrated just yet? I forget at that point. But then 44 to the Rams, 42 to the Lions. Yes, sure, some of that was a little bit of garbage time against the Lions, but still, there was enough moments throughout that game when you're just kind of like, the Lions are kind of doing what they want offensively, and of course, yeah, the Bills have the cushion, but still. And then, of course, giving up 32 against the Kansas City Chiefs in the NFC Championship game, and even against the Ravens, this game was also somewhat misleading because of the 25 points, because the Ravens were easily playing an offense that, should have and could have, if it wasn't for just misconnections on their part, easily could have scored 30 plus points. So again, you're talking about essentially your final 2 playoff games, having your defense play at the level that you would be giving up 30 plus points in back-to-back games. And it's a tough way to live, obviously. And when you see these other teams and how they've been able to play defensively, especially against other teams like the Chiefs, like the Ravens, it really kind of puts things in context. When you look and see how the Eagles played the defense against the Baltimore Ravens, against the Kansas City Chiefs, obviously in the Super Bowl, it really kind of sticks out, quite frankly. It really does. And so I do love this idea of being able to upgrade defensively, and again, just get younger and healthier, and kind of the name of the game of the defense is it's better to kind of have these younger guys on defense, because on defense you do get banged up so much, and when you're younger you can recover so much quicker, right? You're only out for a couple weeks rather than like 5-6 weeks, and when you have a little bit older defensive players, those injuries really just seem to be around every single corner. So I one of the philosophies that I really do like is getting pretty young on defense, having the young guys out there they can bounce back a lot easier. And offense is such a schematically driven force that having a little bit older guys who are a little bit more experienced, who have been in the league, understand, what's being asked from them in any given moment, I think is a pretty safe formula to follow, quite frankly. And I think it's consistently panned out in the NFL. And again, look no further than the most recent Super Bowl champions, right? And it's not to say that you only want young guys on defense, because you still need to round out the defense with like actual seasoned veterans as well. But if we're talking about some key positions that you're going to ask them to add some depth and step up in key moments, you want to make sure that they're available. You need them there. You need them on the field. And so the Buffalo Bills have just, defensively over these last couple of years, seemingly just struggle to get the stop when they need to get the stop. Like even something as simple against the Kansas City Chiefs in the AFC Championship game, the final drive, to ice the game, to not give the ball back to the Buffalo Bills. They could not stop the Kansas City Chiefs. And there was a moment, and yeah, it would have been obviously a tough spot to come back in, but like to not even be able to like try to get the ball back in that aspect, pretty much to kind of have essentially a walk-in first down. And again, it was a great play call, play design from Andy Reid, but like, Andy Reid put on a masterclass offensively against the Buffalo Bills. And just again, quite frankly, that defense was just not up to par. And you can blame personnel, you can blame Sean McDermott. I think it's a combination of the two, quite frankly, but it's definitely not just because of the superiority of the Kansas City Chiefs. And I feel as though the Philadelphia Eagles proved that. And heck, when they played against the Raiders, that's been proven. When they played against, just go down the list of all the other teams, the Broncos, etc., etc. So we saw the Bills play even better defensively against them earlier on in the season, and I would grant that I think that this offense was in the playoffs was better version of them, because I don't even think Pacheco, I'm pretty confident Pacheco wasn't even there that first time around with them. So and Hollywood Brown wasn't there, so you weren't even really playing that full force offense at that time. So but at least it felt like that they were more organized, more intentional, and there was too many moments for the Buffalo Bills in that AFC Championship game where it just felt like they were just, kind of just being, almost like kind of basketball being in a blender, just kind of like going in circles and, easy layup. I mean, that's what it just felt like. That game was just filled with so many easy layups for the Kansas City Chiefs against that Buffalo Bills defense. And yeah, you're just not going to win games that way, especially not in the long term. So I really do. I'm a firm believer in upgrading this defense for the Buffalo Bills, but yeah, because it does feel like in this moment of time that the offense is good enough. At times, do I still think that they leave Josh Allen on an island and ask him to do too much? I do, but I think that's a little bit more on coaching than personnel at this immediate moment, for this immediate team, more so than a personnel aspect. So you can probably be pretty confident with the offense, but you have to regain the confidence from the defense. So definitely a wait and see type of situation, but it will be interesting to see if they just go defense in the draft. I am curious for sure. It also depends obviously who's available, if there's any surprising drops or whatnot. But those are just my thoughts. I'd absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think about the Buffalo Bills potentially going all in on defense in the draft? Let me know in the comments below. I read every single comment, so whether you agree with me or disagree with me, either way, let's get in some discussions, let's get in some fights, but ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. I want to build something that we all truly feel connected to. I think we're well on our way to doing it. Please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help the visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much. See you next time.